Today we're going to be cleaning a Sig Sauer P290RS. I'm going to show you how to do the breakdown, cleaning, lubrication, and putting it back together to maintain your pistol after shooting it. First thing you want to do is make sure it is completely empty. We're going to press the button here. It's the mag release to remove the magazine. You don't want this anywhere near solvents, so we're going to put this far away. Second thing we're going to do is check to make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Visually inspect it. Probably see it there. Nothing in there. Now you know that this is ready for cleaning. Now, I know a lot of people have trouble taking this slide off this pistol. It is a little tricky, and I'm going to show you my little trick for it. When doing this, there's a little tab inside here that the slide has got to line up with, so you can push the slide lock out from the other side. If you see here, there's a little button. You'll push that through and then pull this whole piece off, and it'll release the slide. So I hold it with one hand, just like this. You're listening for 2 clicks. The first click you're going to hear is the slide release releasing. The second one is going to be a slight spring click sound. And when you hear that sound, you want to hold it in place so you can poke the button through for the slide lock. I use something small. This is just one of my cleaning rods that I'm going to use to push it, just so I can push it through easily. So just listen closely. You should be able to hear it. That was the first click. Hear that? Now I should be able to push this through. Release that. As you see, I poked it through enough for it to pull out, and the rest of it is just going to pull out. Now, the rest of this pistol will just slide apart. You got the frame, the lock lever, you've got the spring, and the barrel. And these are the pieces we are going to be cleaning today. I'm going to go ahead and start lubing some of this stuff with my cleaner on the spring. If you want, you can take it off. And I like to clean the rod itself. Some buildup does get on there. It is a polymer rod, so stuff will stick to it rather easily. Spray the barrel down. Spray the slide. Now, it really doesn't matter what kind of cleaner you use. They're all going to do the same thing and help dissolve the carbon buildup and make it easier to wipe off or brush off if it's necessary. Sometimes they get a little more corroded than we like, so you got to use a brush, which I do. While that's soaking, I'll explain a little bit about what I'm using. As you saw, I've got a cleaner. I've got a hard plastic bristle brush. I've got a soft plastic bristle brush. A couple rags. I've got a rag for gun oil. I've got my gun oil out here. I've got a slotted cleaning rod, so I can put little towels in here and clean the barrel. We'll get to that here in a little bit. And then I've got a 9mm brush that I will use for the barrel. After that has soaked for a minute, I'm going to kind of work on some of this, a littler stuff first. I like to get at least some of the gunk off the spring and rod. There usually isn't too much on here, but it never hurts to give it a couple passes and a wipe down. Wipe off any excess cleaner. Now you can let this cleaner sit as long as you want. Not going to hurt nothing. Usually the longer you wait before you actually start going at it, the easier it comes apart. Some cleaners work better than others. That's people's opinions. So use whatever you can find. And here's the lock lever. We're kind of go over this a little bit. Make sure there's no crud on it. Just in case there's anything on there, just go at it. Break it loose. And wipe it off. Alright, we'll set that aside. Alright, now we'll begin on the barrel. I'm going to start with the outside. I will use my soft brush first. Kind of go around anywhere you can see if the soft brush isn't working. There's a little harder brush right there on the other end of this, so I sometimes use that for the small crevices. Get around corners, edges. Anywhere you might have carbon buildup at. Get the loading chamber pretty good. Not going to hurt any of this stuff. I like to get that ramp real good. A lot of carbon gets on the ramp. Now I'll move to inside the barrel where I'm going to use my 9mm brush. I want to go in from the rear, the same place and direction that the cartridge would load. I don't like going the other direction because if you're clanking and hitting the end of the barrel, it could damage it, and we want to prevent that so it doesn't cause any mishaps when you're using your firearm. So basically I just shove it through, scrub it good. Twist, turn, kind of angle, get as much crud out of there as possible. I'll use this wire brush on the ramp for the cartridges as well, just to kind of give it that extra little roughness going. And there's really no limit to how long you need to do this. You just want to make sure you feel a nice smooth stride going through. And once you feel you've completed that, we can start wiping it down. Get whatever residue's on there off. Now I'm going to pull out my slotted cleaning stick. Looks like this. It's got a little slot in the end. I'm going to use these little towels here to clean the inside of the barrel and get the rest of the residue out. We don't want anything left in there. So when you do this, I like to do 2 at a time. Some people have a problem with this, others find this easy. Once you do it enough, you kind of get used to it. You pull it through. I do 2 at a time because it makes it fill up the barrel a little more and a little more contact while running through. And go in the same direction again, the way it would a cartridge would load in the chamber here. Go through the back, come out the front, kind of twist and scrape and really get that out. Now this is going to be dirty, as you see here. Be a bit dirty at first, but you want to keep doing this until you finally got it clean. Now it'll never be perfectly white, but it will get to a light enough gray that it's just not going to get any lighter. And I mean, it's all a matter of how many times you do it. There's times I've done this up 10-15 times and finally gotten the rest of the crud out of there. But it all depends on how much you shoot it and how much carbon is built up inside there. But kind of twist that around a little bit. We're getting a little gray there. That's good. Means we're just about done. Maybe a couple more. Go. Let's try it again. Wow, that actually turned out really good. I don't need to do any more than that. Good, so we're done with the barrel. Get a nice little wipe down. Get anything else off there. Alright, barrel is complete. Alright, now we're going to work on the slide. Slide's a messy part. Builds up heavily on the underside, especially down here by the muzzle end of the barrel. The striker plate here, where the striker comes out and makes contact with the cartridge. All this fun stuff gets heavily coated in carbon. So brush off what you can. I kind of start with the bigger end of the brush. I try to get down in the little grooves of the slide rail here on both sides. And get the back plate area. Work it on that striker plate. the smaller end of the brush to get in the smaller crevices. Get the walls. I tend to not use the brass or the metal brush on it because I don't like taking a chance on scuffing up the metal of the slide, especially if it's like a nickel slide. Nickel scratches and marks really easy, so you don't want to just scuff it up and make it look ugly. So kind of get around everywhere you can. Get the slide grooves where you grab it. That gets dirty. Anywhere you want. Around the sights. Not going to hurt the sights at all. Grooves again. This is the extractor. We want that clean because if it doesn't function, it's not going to eject the cartridge like it's supposed to. Get around the front of the barrel here. Usually some carbon buildup there. I really don't see anywhere else. That needs to be scrubbed. This doesn't look like this particular pistol was fired recently. A friend of mine let me borrow this so I can do a cleaning and takedown video. Go ahead and wipe everything off we can. Looking pretty good. Set that aside. Last but not least, the frame. This whole section in here is where you want to focus your scrubbing. You also might want to do some on around the trigger and the grip itself. But most of the carbon buildup is going to be right inside the mag well here, towards the front of it. And but it doesn't hurt to get anywhere you can with the brush. Clean gun's a clean gun, right? We all like pretty guns. Like to get the slide rails real good. Make sure those are clean and free of debris. No dust, dirt, carbon, anything to prevent that slide from functioning. Get down in every little crevice that you can find. Some of the back here with the sear mechanism. Just kind of wherever you can freely run your brush. Get some of the trigger here. Our hands get dirty and oily and whatnot, so it causes dirt to build up on those as well, so it's not going to hurt to clean it. And the grip, kind of see what's on here. There, gun didn't look like it was in terrible condition at all. This is his everyday carry, so alright, I think we've pretty much got everywhere we need to. Alright, take our little wipe off rag and start wiping it down. Get all the gunk and residue off and kind of get your finger in there as far as you can go. Wipe off the slide rails there. Alright, we now have a clean frame. Next step is lubrication. I have a cloth that is only for lubrication. That way it doesn't have anything else contaminating it. I'll take my gun oil. And I'm pretty liberal with this stuff. It doesn't really take that much. But just so you can see it, you know. And on the frame, I like to do the slide rails. Might do a little bit on the cartridge ramp here. Oh, very good. That's pretty much the only spots you want to do it on the frame. You don't want to put too much on there because you know, oil can attract dust and dirt and whatever else. So we want to keep it clean and keep the oiling down to a minimum. On the slide here, I do inside the grooves for the rail. I don't typically do the extractor. Like I said, I don't want anything building up, any dirt or debris. There really isn't much else. You kind of look for little scuff marks or anything of the sort. That's contact that it's making with the frame, so you want to make sure those are lubed. Cause less friction when it's cycling. So that looks pretty good. You know what? I'll keep that like that. Next is the barrel. Really, it's kind of your preference. I do the whole barrel myself. You can see little scuff marks, especially on top of the barrel, from where it's cycling. So you want to make sure it's lubed in those areas. I also like to do the ramp just to make sure ammunition has no problem feeding into it. And we're going to go ahead and slide this puppy back in. You can see there's a little groove here, and the barrel has like a bell end on it. You drop it in at an angle, and then it pushes in and sets in. So to take it out was the same way. Show you again. Find a little groove, push it in and set it in. I bring it back as far as you can, and it just rests there. Slide rod, I usually put some oil on it because everything needs to function. When it's cycling, the spring, it's compressed and slides up and down it, so we want that guide rod to slip and slide along with the rest of the gun. You see there's a black big tip on the end here that goes in the second hole. I'll show you this way. Goes in the second hole. That's the barrel. Goes in the second hole here. Once you place it in there. Oh, my bad. Got it backwards. The little end goes in the hole. And then you push it onto the step. Kind of see there how it's kind of steps and then steps again. It's on the bottom step. You want everything flat, level when you put this back in. Now to attach the frame, there's little slide grooves here. They match up with the little slide grooves on the back of your slide. You will start from the front and push it in. Alright, now for the fun part. Up here, you can kind of see the hole. When you're looking through it, it should look mostly open. I hold it like this, and this will allow me to just push it a hair back, and I line it up. It almost goes in, so you want to put it back exactly the way its groove is in the frame there. And to finish setting it in, I pinch it and then push the slide back. So I'm going to push down on the lock lever and push the slide back until it finally pops in. Alright, you're not being nice. There we go. So, once you get almost to the back, it'll pop right in, and now that it is completely flush with the frame back in its original position, it's now functional. It's not. So, we're going to give this sucker a final wipe down. I usually take my gloves off for this. I use a clean rag. Get everywhere you can. Give it that kind of polishing shine. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So that was how you take apart, clean, and reassemble a Sig Sauer P290RS. Thanks for watching. I also offer the online course to get your Texas license to carry a handgun. It's the 4-hour class broken down into segments and saves you progress so you can do it at your own pace. After completing the course, you will be able to print your certificate. Then, it'll help you locate an instructor close to you, no matter where you are in Texas, so you can complete the shooting portion of the course. This is all certified by the Texas Department of Public Safety. Check it out at reverendguns.com. If you have any questions or comments, please add them below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more firearms education.